Okay, so now we got all the binding taped off, and we're actually ready to start staining. I'm excited. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to put the back plates in place. The reason why I'm doing this is such a complex stain that we want the stain on the back plates to be the same as the stain everywhere else, and the only way we're going to be able to do that accurately is to stain them at the same time. That's something that most people, usually you don't do, but in this case I just don't see any other way around it. So we got some gray stain here, which is going to be the beginning of our planet. And so what I want to do here is I'm going to take another piece of painter's tape and I'm going to lay it in just about where I want the ground to be. And I'm going to give it just a slight curve. Just a slight curve, because I want it to have kind of a horizon effect. Now everything below this is going to be gray. Everything above it's going to be a dark blue, because it's going to be the planet and then the space. So we'll start there. And I'll open up my gray stain here. And this is a nice deep gray, a little bit on the bluish side. And I'm going to start staining. And I knew that staining with these back plates in place was going to be a pain. Wasn't quite sure how much of a pain. I'm finding out quite a bit, because this one keeps wanting to pop up on me. Alright, now we've got our gray on. What I'm doing here is I'm buffing it a little bit with steel wool to get it nice and smooth again. This stain was a little on the clumpy side, and that's not going to do well when you try to finish it. So I'm just very lightly going over it with some extra fine steel wool. That's steel wool, just to get some of the clumpiness out. And it also allows me to mute the finish a little bit, which I kind of want to do. I don't want this to be real shiny, because it's supposed to be like planet surface, like, gray and dusty, and so I don't want it to be real shiny. So I kind of want it to look a little bit weathered and haggard, and the steel wool will give me that effect. I don't have to do it very long or very hard, just a little bit, just to get nice and smooth, and that's probably good. Alright, so we take off the painter's tape, and we don't have a real sharp line, but that's okay. Well, what's not okay is it's pulling up my frisket, and that's not okay, because then I'd have to refrisket the whole thing. So want to be real careful. Okay, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of, if I can find a piece right here, okay, a little piece of sandpaper, and I'm just going to sand back wherever I don't like how the stain came through that. It's not going to take much, just a little bit. And that top part's going to be dark blue, so we're just going a little bit over it, just with I'm using 600 grit here. So very fine sandpaper. Just going a little bit on that tape line will allow me to turn like a little bit of a speckled jag into a nice, smooth, clean line. Okay, now we're ready to start doing our thing here. And I'm using 2 different colors of trans tint. Product I like. We're not condoning it, we just like it. We don't get any money for showing this on our things, not a commercial, but I do like it. It's a good product. Not terribly cheap product. Each one of these things is about like $18, but it goes a long way. So for one project it's kind of pricey. For a number of projects it's really not that bad. And I've got 3 cups here of denatured alcohol. And it would have been nice if I had pre-punctured these, but I didn't. There we go, there's one. And this is purple. And this other one here is blue. Now I got 3 despite the fact I'm only using 2 colors. And the reason why is because I'm going to put just a little bit into this one. So I get a nice light blue. Just a little bit. So because I want to get just a little light, just a little bit of a light blue. And then I'm going to, you can see it doesn't take a lot. I'm going to put like 4, so I get like a nice deep royal blue out of this. And then I'm going to take and get a nice rich purple. And since they kind of look the same in the cup, I have to be a little careful not to mix up the purple and the blue. The purple is going to be near the top, and the blue and the light blue is going to be here at the bottom, and I'm going to go through another shade of blue as I go. By the way, use clothes you don't care about when you do this. If this stuff gets on your clothes, it's all over. You would just throw that piece of clothing away. So use clothes you don't care about. Okay, so now I'm coming back with some gray stain, and I'm blurring out just a little bit that real hard line we got for the horizon. I don't want a line that hard, so I want a little bit of that gray stain to go into the blue. Not a lot, just a little bit. Okay, so now we got a nice dry system, and now I want to kind of mess up the bottom a little bit, make it look more like a planet, and put a star field in, and maybe even pop a couple little planets up here in the neck. I don't know. We'll have to see how I feel when I get there. Well, this is where the creative part steps in. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take a little of this purple stain that we were using before. And I'm just going to take, no, that's not enough. And I just want to splatter it. Now the whole reason of doing the splatter is so it's very organic. It doesn't look like anything that was planned. And obviously it isn't. And we just kind of let that dry a little bit, just do its thing. And I might even take just a little bit more and splatter just a little. Can't get the splatter. It's driving me crazy here. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. And we just let it dry. Just real quick. Just let it dry. And after it dries for a few seconds, then I'm just going to take this cloth and wipe it a little bit. So I'm giving just a touch of this distorted look to it. Almost kind of looks like a leopard kind of thing, effect going on. Put in a rock ridge. Now if you're not actually an artist, I don't recommend you try this, because you'll probably just mess your guitar up. Now what I'm doing here is I'm using the exact same brush for all three colors. This allows me to do a lot of blending between the colors.